Hi, this is Dean O'Dell with 7 Gables Real Estate in the O'Dell Group. Welcome to Tustin Talks. Today is August 11th and we're going to be talking about the market and the effects a recession may have on this market. But before we get to that, we're going to show you some surprising data from the last 2 weeks. So let's get started with our first chart, which is the active listing inventory. Currently, the orange line shows 4,069 homes. That is the highest level since October 2020. Last year we were at 2,520. That was 1,549 less. So I know what you're thinking. Wow, inventory is just zooming and the market's gonna crash and this and that. Well, look at how the inventory leveled out. It didn't continue to climb. It actually leveled out. So it didn't stay on that trajectory it was on. So what we need to do now is really look at what is normal. Like what was going on the big C, right? When we were all wearing masks. So the normal inventory levels in 2017 to 2019 for this time of year is 6,753 homes. So you can see that we are still much lower than normal. You got to remember that 2020 and 2021 were the historical lows in Orange County for listings, okay? And if we look at how many missing signs we have, meaning people that didn't list their homes in June and July, we're missing 721 listings in Orange County right now that normally come on in June and July. And by the way, we are missing 4,389 listings from the market in 2022. So, you know what? The reality is people still just are not listing their homes. Our inventory is still low relative to averages. Now let's take a look at what's going on the demand side of the equation. Only 1,812 homes in escrow versus last year, which was 2,809. But notice on that orange line, it actually jumped up from the last report. It was at 1,693. There's actually 119 more sales that went on in the last 2 weeks. And also, we got to look at what was that 3-year average from 2017 to 2019? Well, that average was 2,630, which is 818 more sales. So we have 818 less sales going on than normally, but don't forget, we are missing 2,684 homes for buyers to choose from. Okay, expected marketing time. What's changed here? Well, let's look at the orange line. We dropped from 72 days to 67 days. Well, that's not in the buyer's favor. If the buyer's market is going to hit, we got to keep going up with that orange line. We got to get into 120 to 150 days. And what we're going to see on the breakdown of prices, which comes up next, some price ranges are getting into that. So let's go to the next chart, but realize that overall in Orange County right now, at 67 days, we are still in a slight seller's market. So if we look at the chart now by price range, you can see the expected marketing time this year versus last year, and you can see how it's really gone up. Notably, you can see that $2 million to $4 million is now 99 days, and $4 million to $8 million is 178 days. $8 million is 320 days. If you look at those two last ones, those are deep buyers markets. The buyers have some leverage there. So those price ranges are definitely cooling off. You look at the $2 to $4 million range, 99 days, that's getting into a balanced market. Remember, our balanced market is anything over 90 days. And then if you look at the 1.5 to 2 million, that is almost a balanced market. So what have we been telling people for weeks? The market's normalizing. The market's normalizing. Everybody's freaking out, but the market is normalizing, okay? The question is, what's gonna happen next? I wanted to bring out this historical chart for you guys. This is Orange County listing inventory versus demand. The dark colored blue on this chart is demand, and the light blue is the active listings. So if you look at this, I want you to notice, yes, inventory has popped up, but look at where it is historically. I mean, right now you can see we're sitting right at about those 4,000 level for listings. Look at where it was back in 07, 08, 09. It was up to 18,000. Look at our demand relative to the supply. It's not a big difference like it has been in the past. I mean, this is, again, moving back towards normal. Okay, and before we talk about the effects of the recession on this market, let's start with the data chart for Tustin. You're only going to find it here on Tustin Talks. These are our 3 zip codes, and this is what's going on in them. And we've definitely had some changes. So let's look at those 3 zip codes, and then let's look at the categories. You can see that properties for sale are way up compared to last year along all the zip codes. You could look at what's new that came on the market this month and see that it is pretty much flat except for 92782. A lot of people did not list this last month in 92782, which is interesting. If we look at the solds, only zip code is 92780 where the solds actually went up. And the pendings also went up in that zip code. And you can see how that compares to the other 2 zip codes. And most notably, if you look at months of inventory, guys, months of inventory is another figure to determine what's a normal market. In months of inventory, we have been floating at a month or less of inventory for a long time now. If you look at 92705, it's up to 3 months. If you look at 92780, it's at 1.1, and 92782 is 2.3. So why is 92782 and 92705 increasing their inventory in months? Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, we know interest rates have had an effect, and these are the higher price ranges. People have to borrow more money. There's been more of an effect on these buyers. And so it's not uncommon to see the higher prices slow down first, because if you look at the lower price ranges, like in the 92780, there's just more buyers to be had in that price range, right? So even though it's slowing down, there's still a lot of buyers out there. Active listings, you can look at those and those statistics, and you can look at these final sales prices to list prices and see they are coming down as well. They're getting closer to that 100% mark. People are not overpaying for properties like they were before, and the days on the market is increasing in all areas. So that's good. That's moving us more towards a normal, healthy market. So now let's look at the last charts regarding the recession and my advice. So the question was, does a recession equal a housing crisis? Well, here's the last 6 recessions for you, and look what's happened in every single recession over time. Interest rates have come down. Interest rates come down to bring you guys out of a recession, right? To bring us all out of a recession. So look at that chart, study it, and then look at the next graph. Here's actually what home prices did during the last 6 recessions, okay? They've only gone down twice, you guys. They've only gone down, you know, from the beginning of the recession to the end of the recession, and the biggest time was 2008 when we had the Great Recession, and that's what everybody remembers, and that's why everybody thinks everything is going to crash and everybody's panicking. But let's talk about everything that's happening in reality in my advice. Okay, so I know this has been a longer Tustin Talks because I wanted to show you guys these charts because everybody thinks the sky is falling, and we have to study the data to really understand what's going on. But beyond that, we got feet on the ground. We got 6 agents on this team. We're out there every single day, okay? We have 12 escrows open right now on this team. People are still buying houses, you guys. Now, are we seeing the multiple offers and the craziness of before? Absolutely not. But guess what I saw this weekend? I went out to a house that was $879 because I was just curious, like, what is somebody asking $879 for? What's somebody gonna get for $879? I walked in there, I talked to the agents who were working that open house. Over 100 people through this weekend. 100 people and multiple offers again. Now, why is that? Well, interest rates, you guys. Interest rates have already dropped. They overcompensated. They went up to almost 6 1/4. They now down closer to 5 1/4. And if you really shop out there for jumbo money, you can even get rates in the 4s still. So can rates still drop? Yes. But guess what? Buyers have picked up almost 5 to 10% purchasing power just in the last couple of weeks, and they are responding. They are out there buying. Is it going to be as crazy as it was? No. But is it dying? Is it a dead market? Absolutely not. Showings are down, offers are down. It's called normal, you guys. Been doing this 30 years. What we just went through was not reality, okay? Now, are we going to crash? Well, we showed you the charts about the Great Recession. Are we in a recession? I don't know. They keep redefining what a recession is. But either way, we know that housing does not significantly drop during a recession, okay? Unless it's caused by a housing crisis. Well, we've had good lending. We've had all this stuff, right? All this good stuff going on. We're not, you know, fog and mirrors to get loans and stuff. People are putting down payments down, they're qualifying. You know, foreclosures are an all-time low. Now, I'm not just rooting and saying this market's gonna go up forever, but maybe we are gonna have a soft landing. Maybe things are gonna just kind of level out, or my gut feeling tells me we'll still see things go backwards, maybe 10%, just because we're dealing in a higher price market and interest rates have more of an effect. But even so, average person lives in their house 20 years, you guys. So if you want to get through this market, you need experience on your side. Whether you're a buyer or seller, give us a call and the Odell Group will help you out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next Tustin Talks.